I know most of you are so excited to create some animations inside Unreal Engine using motion design, although it's a little bit early to do that, but let's go ahead and do it. We're gonna create simple animation. So here I have empty scene. First of all, I'm gonna click on create defaults to create the lights and the camera and click on spawn. And now I can go to actors and click on text actor and click somewhere there. And you can select the text and change it from here. Let's type Unreal Engine. And we can change the font to maybe Impact and move it to the center. If you come over here, you can see we have this button which will toggle the save frames. So if I click on that, so now I have these green lines. This is my screen. So everything here will be visible to the audience. So now in order to animate the text, we need first to select that and move it down. Let's go ahead and move it down somewhere there. And now we need to set a key. If I come to the location, I can click there to set a key. So if I click on that, you can see I get the key and I have the track here. This is the text and this is the transform. If I expand that and under the location, you can see I have X, Y, Z. We want to animate that just on Z. We don't need the keys on X or Y. So we can delete the keys on X and Y and move this key to the 0. So now I'm gonna move the time slider to about maybe 30 and move it up somewhere there. So now if you want to add a key, you can come over here and click on add key, but the problem is if you click on that, this will add a key on XY2. So let's see that. Let's click on that. So you can see I have keys on XY2. So I don't want that. We don't want unnecessary keys. So now I have just the key here, or another way to add the key, you can just come over here and click on that to add the key just on Z. So now if I go ahead, you can see we have the animation. And now if you want to slow down the animation, you can come over here to the curve editor. And as you remember, we animated that on Z, right? We can click on Z to isolate that. So now if I select the point and move the tangent a little bit up, this will make the animation faster at the start and then it will slow down. So if I click, you can see we have nice animation. It's coming very fast and then slows down. So now let's type the text 5.4, the number 5.4. We can create a new text actor, or we can just duplicate that. We can come over here, right click and click on duplicate. Yes. And the nice thing is now we have the keys too here. So you see. So if I select the second one and come over here, let's type 5.4 and here we have it. So let's move it to the center. So now they are overlapping. So let's go ahead and move this one down. As you see, if I move it and then move the time slider, is jumping back because we have a key here. So let's go to the first key and move it down a little bit. Let's move the camera a little bit and move it there. And we need to set a key. So now it stays there. Let's go ahead and make some room here and play the animation. And they are overlapping, so let's go ahead to the second key, this key, and move it down a little bit, somewhere here, and set a key. And now we need just to move the entire keys, or you can select just these keys or this bar. You can move it a little bit back, and here we have the animation. I want to mention just few things. For example, if you have a key, let's say on X, let's set a key here. So everything works normal, right? But let's say you want to move the numbers a little bit to the left, and now if I play the animation, as you see, it's jumping back because we have keys here. That's why we don't need unnecessary keys. Now let's go ahead and create the rectangle. Let's go to 2D shapes, click on rectangle, and click and drag it there. So let's go ahead to the all and reset the position. Now it's at the center. So now we want to animate the rectangle. I think we're gonna make it bigger at the bottom, so let's select that to cover the entire text, and from here too, maybe from there and from here. And I like to add some bevel to it, so let's go ahead and add some bevel. Great. So now let's go ahead and animate the scale. So if I come over here, I can, let's go first at frame 0. We want to set the key at frame 0. Let's go ahead and set a key there. Let's open that. As you see, I have keys on X, Y, Z. So first of all, I want to animate that on Y. So let's go ahead and set everything to 0, 0, 0. The scale is 0, so now it's invisible. And set the key. First of all, we need to animate that on Y. So let's go somewhere there to maybe 30. And then I'm gonna set the Y to 1. So after certain time, I'm gonna now animate the Z. So let's go ahead and set the key on Z. And after certain time, I wanna set the Z to 1. So now it will expand. So we need to set this one to 1. So as you see, now we have nice animation. We can come over here to the Z. We can set the Z to 0.1 and here to 0.12, so it doesn't look flat. Let's see, it's still looking flat. So let's set the X to 0.12, set the key. Okay, great. You can of course offset the animation by coming to the bar. You can select that and this will move the entire keys. And you can play with the keys. You can select them, make the animation faster a little bit. It's up to you. So now if you want to change the color, you can simply select the shape or any text. You can come over here and change the color. Let's set it maybe to orange. And click OK. Or you can add a gradient. You can come over here to the simple style and change that to linear gradient. So now you can add two colors. Let's go ahead and change this color to maybe dark orange or red. And you can control the offset from here. And if you don't want the lit mode, so you can click here to set it to unlit material. So this was just simple and quick animation tutorial for you. I know maybe it's overwhelming for beginners, but don't worry, we're gonna cover everything in details later in the course. So anyway, this is a homework for you. You may want to try to create different animations Let's say you want to create the text animation from left to right or from up to down. So I will leave that to you. See you later.